How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And you know what time it is. It is time for the joke of the day. If you're new to this channel, we do this 5 days out of the week. Maybe you had a long, maybe you had a stressful day, or maybe it was the market conditions while you came to watch this video, plus hear one of my corny jokes. Here it comes. I go to the toilet for 2 reasons. Number 1 and number 2. It's kind of stupid. And today we're going to be talking about OCGN. It did have a pullback inside of the market, just like many other stocks, due to the fact we're going to be awaiting some big time news on Friday in regards to tapering. But another thing to be aware of, we ended up getting a big time press release, and of course we were met with a lot of selling pressure. I'll go over it more inside of this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know what was the buying and the selling behavior like on the retail side and the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for OCGN. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $5.65, being down 6.30%. On the low, it tested $5.59, and then on the high, testing $6.50. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 22.476 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days being at 17.268 million shares. So even though we did have above average volume on the day, you could see we dealt with a good amount of selling pressure. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is right around 36.35. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 50-day, the 200-day, the 100-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. And like we've confirmed in previous videos, OCGN is in a bear market, being under all of our major moving averages. So one thing that I want to point out, in the pre-market for today, we ended up seeing a high of $6.92, and we gave up all of those gains. If you guys remember in my video that I made yesterday, I wanted to see OCGN actually get into the 630 range, and it did exactly that, but there was a strong sell-off right at the open, and we ended up seeing a low of $5.59. So going into tomorrow, if we continue to have a pullback, then I want to see some strength right at the support level here, right around 549. And if that does not hold, then I'm going to be looking for some strength right here around this 535. And as well for this 520 range. And the reason why this is important, because if it ends up breaking through 525, then potentially we can start visiting right at the $5 level. Now, for the bullish case scenario, you'd want to see OCGN get back to $6. We were able to actually close above it yesterday, but unfortunately for today, closing at 565, it's still going to continue to be a psychological area. So the moment we have some movement above 6, that's where I'm going to look forward to seeing that retest back to $6.50, and then essentially getting to the 21-day EMA at $6.97. So let's see how OCGN performs going into tomorrow. So we're going to take a look at the short interest information for OCGN. So we can see for the dark pool short volume ratio, it is at 46.06, and then for the dark pool short volume being just over 1.68 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 350,000, updated 11 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 1.51%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see for the close of the 7th, it was at 39.55, and then for the close yesterday, which was the 8th, being at 46. 0.06. So we could see there was an increase, and this tells us that OCGN does continue to have short squeeze potential, but there are many shorts who are vested in this play, so this contributes to the overall volatility. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for OCGN. So we can see here on the inflows at 20.64, and then on the outflow it was 21.45. So we end up having an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown even further, on the large it was 0.91, on the medium it was 13.12, and then on the small it was 6.61. When we take a look at the outflow side on the large, it was 1.62, on the medium it was 13.93, and then on the small it was 5.90. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, December the 9th, it being that outflow of negative 708.58, and for the past 5 trading days it has all been red. So that's one thing you want to keep in mind. When we analyze the numbers even further for the small scale orders, which tends to represent the retail side, we actually had more buying than we had selling, but it was still fairly close. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And of course, when we take a look at the large, which potentially could represent institutions, we had more selling than we had buying. When we take a look now at the turnover ratio, it was right around 11.50%. So this is fairly high, and what this tells us, yes, there were many traders who were inside of the play, and there were also many who were selling out of their position, and we realized this right away when it spiked up in the pre-market to $6.92 and then selling off as soon as when it got right into the open. So let's go into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for OCGN, let's first go over the press release that came out. So we have it here. So FDA accepts application to begin trial of OCU400 in the retinitis pigmentosa. Ocugen Inc. said that the U.S. Food and Drug Administration accepted its investigational new drug application to initiate a clinical trial of OCU400 in retinitis pigmentosa. The biopharmaceutical company focused on gene therapies to cure blindness diseases said the trial, to start in the first quarter of 2022, will enroll patients with mutations in the NR2E3 or RHO genes. So now we're going to go over what Shankar has to say about it. We're collaborating with leading centers in eye care and have been vital partners to getting our trial launched and receive patients. With this final decision by the FDA, we are embarking on a new pathway of care through this innovative gene therapy. OCU400 was granted 4 orphan drug disease designations from the FDA for treating 4 different gene mutation associated with retinal degenerative diseases between 2019 and 2020. The European Medicines Agency granted Ocugen broad orphan medicinal product designation in 2021 for OCU400 for the treatment of both retinitis pigmentosa and Leber congenital amaurosis. So it was great getting that update from OCGN, because one thing that we do know for a fact, they do have a business outside of launching covaxin in Canada and as well as for the United States. We know they are focusing on curing blindness, and the fact that they're making progress in this area, this gives shareholders a lot of confidence. In regards to the sell-off that we had inside of the pre-market, I'm not shocked about it whatsoever. It's always been buy the rumor, sell the news, or whenever we get some sort of news, there's a strong sell-off that follows. There are many people who are holding shares of OCGN, so this is why whenever we get some sort of a run, we get hit with selling pressure. We also have to keep in mind of the fact, and we went on Fintel, this play does have short squeeze potential, but it also does tell us there's a lot of shorts who are vested in this play. So whenever you have a little bit of selling that is happening on the retail side, you already know it's going to be compounded due to the fact that the short interest is very high. And this is why buying volume is very important for a stock like OCGN. You want to have that demand there. And another thing that we can't forget about, it was a volatile time inside of the market overall. Many stocks were pulling back. We also did see a lot of momentum in the market in the early parts of the week. So this is why you want to keep an eye on this play and also see what it looks like in the technical sense, and that's part of the reasons why I cover it inside the videos. I want to see OCGN being able to hold up at least a $5.25 level if it decides to to pull back, but we also want to see it not break the $5 area, so just keep that in mind. As far as for a bullish reversal, we want to see OCGN get back into this $6 range. Like I said in the previous video, I wanted to see OCGN get into the $6.30 level, but yes, it ended up getting to $6.50 on a day, but like I said previously, it was experiencing a strong sell-off from $6.92. So I will continue to keep an eye on this play and keep you guys updated. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.